Hey, welcome back to the 5 Steps of Building a Successful Business. As always, I'm Brett Hirsch. We are in step 2, the customer experience. Now, in this particular lesson, we are going to discuss creating the customer experience, or at least we are going to start discussing the customer experience. And there are several steps in this process to creating a customer experience, which we are going to teach you in the next few lessons. Step number 1, we want you to find your customers, and this is the who. This is who is purchasing your product or service. We want to determine what your customers want. Okay, that's step number 2. Step number 3, then we are going to summarize these wants as benefits. And this is what we call does what, which it'll make sense in a moment. Just stick along with me. And then finally, we are going to craft an experience around these benefits, which are for your customers and not someone else's. So this is how we create a customer experience. And it all starts with what we call a value statement. Value statements are very important. It's really this simple, and it is a statement. Your business does what for who, okay? Your business does what for who. It is not a question. It's kind of a question we're going to answer in the process, but when we get finished, it is going to be a statement. It's going to be a concise statement that you can share with others, that you will use to create your customer experience and find your customers. So this value statement, what it does is it tells you who your customers are. It tells you what benefit, the why these customers purchase your product or service. It's also absolutely essential for experience creation. It actually gives you a framework for constructing the experience for your customers. Your business does what? You'll see that's in bold. For who? It's in bold because that's what we're going to discuss right now. Does what? What is does what? Well, let's discuss that a little bit deeper. This is not your product or service. It's not what you are selling, but we are still answering the does what is really answering the question why. It is the benefit that you provide to your customers. It's why your customers choose you, and it summarizes the experience that you are going to create. It's kind of also, you can still think of the value statement as being your elevator statement. Once you tell somebody your business does what for who, it begs the question why. Then you can dig into why they should choose your business. It also is who your experience is created for, or should I say it points towards who your business, who your experience, I should say, is created for. Your value statement, let's go a little deeper here. Your business does what for who, which you now see is bold. Who, I'm not an L, but I'm saying who. This is your customer. Who equals your customer? Who is your customer? That's what we want to answer in the next couple lessons. So it's going to be a decision maker, okay? Your customer is always a decision maker that needs your product or service, can't afford your product or service, and finally is in a profitable market, meaning there are enough of these decision makers to form a common experience around for your product or service. So how are we going to find your customers? Let's discuss that in this next section, and also we're going to really dig into it a little bit deeper in the next lesson. But we kind of use a funnel approach here, and what we mean is we're going to narrow down as we go to find who your customer is. We're going to start by thinking of a group that needs your particular product or service. These are individuals, or it's members of a group, or a group of individuals, or a group of potential customers who pursue a similar benefit from your product or service. These are individuals that can afford your product or service, meaning they have the ability to pay what you must charge for your product or service. Now, we're going to dig into that a little deeper in step number 3, make a profit. And you see this all interrelated. Now, they're in a profitable market. So these are individuals, a group of individuals that can afford your product or service in a profitable market, which basically means there's enough members in this group for you to make enough sales to these individuals to generate a profit. And finally, it's the decision maker in that group who needs your product or service, can afford your product or service in a profitable market, who is a decision maker. And this basically means they say yes or no to purchasing your product or service. They give the final word on the purchase product or purchase process of purchasing your product or service. And they greatly influence yes or no. So they greatly influence that purchase process. And to make sense of that, just think about children, okay? Children purchasing cereal, children purchasing toys. They don't really purchase those things, even though I say they're purchasing them. The parents do, but the children have a great influence over yes or no. That's why so much marketing of children's items are really sugar cereal to the kids, who influence the purchasing of that cavity-creating cereal by the parents. They're not really the decision maker, but they kind of are a decision maker. Okay, your decision maker is the customer. Okay, we're there now. You're going to build your customer experience around that decision maker, around that individual, around that single person. And hopefully there's enough of those single persons to create a profitable market. Okay, if you're already in business, you may already have a really fairly sizable customer base. So we want to dig here. Let's go. This process may work. A little bit better for you. So we're just going to go up the chain this time, or up the upside down pyramid there, triangle, and we're going to ask yourself these questions. Who are your best customers? What customers do you really enjoy working with? Which ones give you the least amount of headache? Okay, and which ones can pay the price that you must charge for your product or service? Who are your most profitable customers that you enjoy? A lot of times your most profitable customers are really oftentimes are the ones you enjoy the most because they don't complain as much. Are there enough of these particular customers that you enjoy working with that can afford your product or service? Are enough of them to be profitable? Meaning, are there enough of those individuals, your price times quantity, to create the revenue that you need to be profitable? Remember, step number 3, make a profit. You might want to come back and revisit this lessons again because they're all interrelated. And then finally, do these individuals who are your favorite customers, do these seek a similar benefit? Meaning, can you create a common experience around these individuals, around these customers who are your favorite ones? Now, your value statement, remember, your business does what for a decision maker. So that is it for this lesson. Now, in the next lesson, we are going to dig a lot more into helping you find your customers with a really cool example. So thanks, and I'll see you in the next lesson.